Novak Djokovic versus Marton Fucsovics. I apologize if it's the wrong pronunciation, but Novak Djokovic versus Marton Fucsovics quarterfinals Wimbledon 2021 review. If you have not watched the match or do not want it to be spoiled for you, click away in three, two, one. So Novak Djokovic is viewing all of his potential opponents as victims in a slasher movie, or at least that's what it seems to me, going by his post-match interview, where to me, watching the interview, it seemed as if he was low-key angry or just irritated at the questions, because every match after he's won it, there's some mention of some statistic that he has accomplished, his 37th quarterfinal, or his 300 something Grand Slam victory. What does it make you feel? And Djokovic very aptly responded with, "Hey, do you want to travel with me as my statistician or my psychologist because you're motivating me by these statistics?" There is a hidden message there, which is that ask me better questions or just let me go. Then there were questions about, or rather, there was a mention of the fact that both his potential opponents at that time, Shapovalov and Khachanov, were engaged in a five-set battle, and Djokovic just said, "Yeah, I'll." They're both looking good. We're all looking good. That's why we're on the quarterfinal stage. He was not in the most welcoming mood as far as interviews go, and I was really amused by that. Even though Djokovic went ahead by 5-0 in the first set, and then somehow Fucsovics won 3 games in a row. No, Djokovic then served it out. His movement was a bit suspect, to be honest. In the first set, it seemed to me that he was cutting some corners, trying to be safe. Maybe it seemed to me it's not a very declarative, confident statement for me because I'm not entirely sure whether that was a conscious decision that he took. But he was measured in some of his steps on the grass, especially during the 3 games that he lost on the trot before securing the first set, 6-3, I believe. Yeah. Then he, well, this match does not have a lot of things that need to be broken down. His serve was good. He won a lot on the first serve, which has been the theme throughout the championships for him. He did not convert a lot of the break points. Now that is something that I picked up on during the course. I should look at the statistics. Okay, but I'll do that after going through the match. My final thoughts on the match are just this: that Djokovic has not unlocked his actual best level yet. His returning is okay. His serving is really good, and that serving is the reason why he has not even needed to really be challenged at all during the course of this tournament. Also, he's buoyed by the fact that he has the simplest draw, the most straightforward draw that I've seen in any Grand Slam for any of the big guns since I want to say US Open 2017, where Rafael Nadal had the most simple, easy, bread and butter draw that I had ever seen in my Grand Slam watching days. So this rivals that. It's not that because Shapovalov is on a roll, but going by potential opponents who have a history of troubling the player we were talking about, this is up there. This is really up there. But it doesn't matter. What matters is how you play and how you make yourself win a match. And I've already mentioned in videos, but I will continue to do so because this channel is still small, and whoever comes across this video should know this, that I know this, or at least I believe this. Novak Djokovic is the master of 5-set matches. You can see the gears turning in his head. He may be screaming, shouting, yelling at the top of his voice at his box or at himself, cursing himself for missing a simple slice or not returning a shot that he believes he should have returned. No matter what, he is still in the match. I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and I remember clearly saying that Djokovic could be down 2 sets to love, and he could be down a break. In my case, he could be down 2 breaks, and still I would believe that there's a good 40-60 shot that Novak Djokovic wins that match, unless there's something drastic happening with regard to injury or something on those lines. But as far as things that he can control and invoke in himself, I have never been as captivated by the aura of a tennis player as much since Roger Federer 2008. Now, as for the statistics, aces, Novak Djokovic had 4, and Fucsovics had how many? 5. Double faults, Novak Djokovic 3, Fucsovics had 5. First serve percentage 66 for Djokovic, 64 for Fucsovics. Win percentage, first serve 82 for Djokovic, again very high. The secret to his success, that penetrating serve is still going well, and his +1 game is improved. Another mention that deserves mention. First serve win percentage for Fucsovics is 58. Win percentage on the second serve, 44 for Djokovic, 53 for Fucsovics. Net points won, 79% for Djokovic. It's almost... Okay, I'll continue with the statistics and then mention this. Net points won for Fucsovics, 59%. Break points won, 29%. 4 out of 14 for Djokovic. There you go. He missed a lot of break points, which is not like him, especially not against the likes of Fucsovic. But he's not playing his best game, so who knows? It was just something that I noticed, that this does not seem very common from you, Mr. Djokovic. 1 out of 6 by Fucsovics. As for break points, 1. Receiving points won, 44% for Djokovic, 31% for Fucsovic. Winners, 23. Winners, 24 for Fucsovic. 23 was for Djokovic. Unforced errors, 30 for Djokovic. That's the telling stat. 31 unforced errors for Fucsovic. Total points won, 108 for Djokovic and 84 for Fucsovic. For the first time during the course of the championships, Djokovic has a negative winners to unforced errors ratio. It did seem that way, but all part of the Djokovic aura narrative. You just don't think he's going to rattle in, because when the situation calls for it, he's going to invoke his best game at either the flip of a switch or over the course of a couple games. He will be mad at himself. He might be mad at a couple people in the spectators, in the crowd, and then he will get riled up and he will get motivated by one of the many sources of motivation that he has lined up for himself. And that is a great thing about his current run. You just don't think he's ever going to lose. He has this aura of invincibility. You remember Federer 04 to 09? He had this feeling, he invoked this feeling in fans, in players alike, that when you step on the court with him, that he's going to beat you because he's the best. Novak Djokovic is undoubtedly the absolute best in the world right now. And it shows in the way he conducts himself, especially in the post-match interview. He was asked, what do you think about your potential opponent? And he says, I just have to win regardless. Absolutely. Not catering to the crowd. I am a huge admirer of athletes or even public figures who do that, who not catering to the crowd. Because a lot of players and people in general are dependent on public approval or what other people are saying about you. And it's very difficult to find your motivation from within, which is something that Djokovic has talked at length about, where he gets his motivation from, what his goals in the sport are. And he's the most honest when it comes to these claims. For example, he had already laid his eyes on the goal of surpassing the most weeks at world number 1. And he had said that before he broke that record. In the same vein, he has stated that he will break the Grand Slam record, or he wants to. So he'll focus on that, especially after he got the weeks at world number 1, what he calls the historic world number 1 record. Once he got that, he said, my main goal now is Grand Slams. He is in a perfect position to go for the career Golden Slam, which has not been done since Steffi Graf in 1980-something. He could do it. He actually could do it. Which is a very ridiculous thing to say for a 34-year-old who is also 6 years removed from his prime. Of course, looking back at his career, if he goes on to accomplish these unfathomable things, everyone will look to this year being his peak, especially given the fact that he won Roland Garros and beat Nadal in the semifinal on the way to win that title. But Novak Djokovic is 34 years old. He is 6 years removed from his physical prime, and he is playing really well, and he is calculating perfectly. He is managing his resources to the best of his ability, but also to the best possible, because those things at the current moment are the absolute same. The best that you can do being Djokovic is the best that anybody can do on the professional circuit. That's just the one and the same because he is the best. And all respect to the champion. Moving forward, semifinals will be against Shapovalov, which is going to be. Shapovalov has the weapons to trouble Djokovic, which is something you cannot say about any of his previous opponents, Djokovic's previous opponents. Shapovalov has a great serve, but he has this history of disappearing in matches. Why would you give two sets to Khachanov? How could you give 2 sets to Khachanov, having a superior game, having a superior serve, having a superior forehand? But still, Shapovalov disappeared for moments in the match. And of course, I understand it's his first Grand Slam quarterfinal. He would have those moments of unclarity or moments of despair or uncoordination or discoordinated movement or just not the imperfect balance on shots. That happens a lot. And the movement is compromised or getting you're holding the racket a little too tightly, getting imbalanced on shots. Those things happen. But that is the main reason why Djokovic is going to most likely roll through him, even though he has the weapons to trouble Djokovic. Shapovalov does. But still, this is why you play the matches. Federer is out. Spoiler, if you had not watched that video, Federer is out, and you have a Hurkacz and either one of Berrettini or who's his opponent, Felix Auger-Aliassime. That's on the other side. Aliassime or Berrettini going up against Hurkacz, and Djokovic versus Shapovalov. That's your semifinal lineup, and I might do a preview soon about that after the completion of the Berrettini and Aliassime match. Until next time, this is Duncan Lievi, and I will see you soon. Cheers.